So we are based in the UK, but we can do renewals worldwide. So we have a vast network of associates that we work with globally. We also direct file ourselves in many countries, which is good for our clients because it keeps the costs down significantly, and also they can have their whole portfolio with us, and we can do it in one go.
Welcome to Let's Talk Pure Ideas. I'm your host, Katia Douglas, and today I'm very pleased to welcome one of my colleagues to our podcast, Louise Cooke. Welcome, Louise. And just to kick things off before we start delving into intellectual property related questions, I've got some sort of quick fire questions for you to sort of warm us up. So first of all, what is your go-to takeaway?
Ooh, it's got to be Indian.
Ah, yeah, I'm with you there. Definitely with you there. So, would you prefer flowers or chocolates?
Chocolates, definitely. Yeah.
Chocolates. I hope your husband's listening to this. Yeah, or you want both, really, don't you? So, yeah, definitely. And what's your favourite film?
My favourite film is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Just because I love a bit of romance, I love a bit of comedy, and I love Kate Hudson. I think she's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, she's great, isn't she? And the last quickfire question is, if you could have any other job in the world, what would it be and why?
I think it would have to be making cocktails on a beach bar in Cyprus. I don't think it would pay the bills, or I'd be allowed to work there, but in an ideal world.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, can I come to that beach bar? In an ideal world, yeah, in the sunshine making cocktails sounds good to me too. So for our listeners, Louise Cooke is our senior renewals paralegal within the team for Pure Ideas. And today we plan to give you a bit of an insight into the world of renewals and why they're so important to your intellectual property, and why it's also very important that the provider that you work with, you have a sort of a good relationship with so that you can liaise with them. So welcome, Louise, again, this time on a more serious footing. So can you just give the listeners a bit of an insight into your background in, how you came to be in intellectual property, and why did you choose to work with Pure Ideas?
Well, thank you for having me to start with. It's nice to be here. So I started as an office junior at another IP law firm. So just working my way up, kind of just getting that office experience and, working out the environment. And then in 2003, so quite a long time ago now, I worked my way up into a renewals position, and I've been doing renewals ever since. I was there for a good chunk of time. I then went to a service provider, and I was there for a few years doing renewals there. And then I came to Pure Ideas, which is the perfect fit for me, purely because I can fit the job around my young family. The flexibility is amazing. I have such a good team around me. We're all really supportive of each other, and I can just do my job, and the trust is there, and it's fantastic. It fits really well.
Oh, that's really lovely to hear. That's great. Okay. And we both know Pure Ideas does renewals for all sorts of different types of intellectual property. But for those out there who perhaps aren't familiar with what sort of intellectual property needs renewing, can you just take the listeners through the main types of renewals that we do, and the sort of the renewal points for those, because they're all different, as we both know, but the listeners might not. So.
Of course, yes. So mainly we do renewals for patents, trademarks and designs. Every country has their own laws, so you do have to keep on the ball with the deadlines sometimes, but in general, patents are due annually, trademarks are due every 10 years, and designs are due every 5 years.
Okay. And with patents, is that something you said every year? What's the lifetime of a patent, just in case anybody listening wants to know the answer to that question?
So from start to finish for a patent is 20 years, and then after that it expires.
Okay, lovely. And our clients sometimes think that because we're a UK based company, but obviously we work with clients all over the world, but sometimes they think that we can only do renewals in the UK. Can you sort of dispel that myth a little bit and talk about what the benefits are of using one representative for all of your renewals?
Yeah, of course. So we are based in the UK, but we can do renewals worldwide. So we have a vast network of associates that we work with globally. We also direct file ourselves in many countries, which is good for our clients because it keeps the costs down significantly, and also they can have their whole portfolio with us, and we can do it in one go.
Yeah, which makes sense, really, doesn't it? If you keep sometimes keeping all your eggs in one basket isn't a good idea, but actually, if somebody's got that representation for you, they know your portfolio much better, don't they? So yeah, okay. And we both know how important it is that renewals are done and carried out by deadlines. Could you just share a little bit about sort of what an extension period is, as well as, why is a deadline really important on a renewal, and what does a drop dead date mean if you miss it when you're renewing IP?
Yeah, of course. So you do have your renewal deadlines, and they come with, usually it's a 6 month deadline to then pay an extension. Once that 6 month deadline has passed, the patent will lapse. If it's a patent, trademark, the same. I'm just going to use a patent for example. So after that 6 month mark, the patent will lapse, and there is a possibility to restore, but in the time of the patent lapsing and restoring, for example, it does open the patent up to third parties who can take that patent and use.
Okay, so really for clients, it's they've really got to be mindful of the fact that those deadlines are there. I know you have a process of reminding clients about deadlines, but for any clients listening out there, please notice those reminders and act on them fast, because you don't want to have your rights lapse and possibly open yourself up to somebody getting at your intellectual property rights. So do you?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it takes so much time and money and effort to have a patent to start with, to file the application, to get it through, to miss it at a renewal deadline and lose your rights.
It could be devastating, couldn't it? Yeah, absolutely. So for you then, your job obviously sounds like sometimes it can be quite sort of stressful if you haven't had instructions on time, but what would be the biggest message you would give to a potential renewals client out there in terms of what would help you? What would you like them to know, Louise?
So I think it's important that the clients instruct early, so we have those instructions in place. We do have to have written confirmation, so we've got it in writing that you do want to renew your patent. And I think that that's mainly the most important part of it, is that you let us know. We do send lots of reminders, as you've said, and we will send more past the original renewal deadline, but just to kind of have it in place and know that it's there, and we can do it for them.
I know you give clients lots of warnings, you're past your renewal date, this is going to lapse, and sometimes you don't hear. And the other thing I think that I've picked up from you talking about it is sometimes if you're renewing rights in a country on the other side of the world where there's time zone differences, having that instruction too late in the day may mean that you've missed the deadline anyway because of the time zone differences. So this is why it's so important to just get ahead of it, isn't it, and make sure that you've renewed your rights and then you don't have to think about it again. So yeah.
Of course, yeah, definitely. I mean, we all have those last minute panics and we do our best to get everything done in time, but those time zones can cause a bit of a struggle. Another thing is that's really important because trademarks, for example, the renewals are due every 10 years. In that time period, so much can change in 10 years. And when your renewal comes due and we can't seem to get hold of you because you've moved, and it's important to keep us updated. I know it's probably one of the last things you think to do, but to keep us updated with contact details is important for us.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, because if you spent all that money on a trademark, you don't want to end up losing your rights because you've forgotten to tell your provider, if it's Pure Ideas, that you've moved, and then we can't get hold of the person to say, well, 10 years has gone by and it needs renewing. And that is something that I know we often come up against, that we just haven't had that information from a client who's perhaps moved premises or changed their phone number, or the person who's responsible for the trademark has changed, or whatever it can be. And we do try with the best will in the world, don't we, to keep in contact with clients, but sometimes it's not all that easy. So I agree with you, it's a really important part of the communication process between us and any clients. I suppose the last question I've got for you is, over the last few years, we've seen quite a sort of growth of the online portals that offer a similar service to what we do, so you can renew your patents or trademarks or whatever it is online. And I know, in fact, you worked in that space for a period of time. Why do you feel that the service that Pure Ideas offers is a good one for certain types of clients rather than the online process? What are the things that can potentially go wrong with using an online portal?
So I think that online portals are great. I'm not going to say anything bad about online portals. I think that they can work really well. And obviously putting all your portfolio on an online portal and having it there, the costs do reflect that service. Something that I can find with online portals is if you've uploaded your portfolio and maybe there's something missing in there, you've missed a country, or you've missed kind of like there's a digit wrong on the numbers. Sometimes, with all the best will in the world, technology won't pick up on that, and sometimes things can go wrong. And I think that that's where we differ. So you've got me here offering that personalised service for you. You've got me on the end of the phone, end of an email at any time, answering any questions. Doesn't even have to be about renewals. We can help with any question you have. And of course, as I said, we send lots of reminders out and we can personalise to your needs. So we can send you annual schedules if you like. If you have a big invoice, we can set up payment plans. And just having that personal touch, I think, is what is most important, and that's how we differ.
I agree with you, because not everybody's the same, are they? Some people are very comfortable using an online portal. They trust themselves to do everything correctly and everything's fine. But then there are those of us out there who are more nervous about technology and perhaps just need that little bit of hand-holding and the confidence that it's in hand and somebody else is looking after it for you, and you're not having to be the person responsible for potentially getting it wrong if something does go wrong as well. So I agree with you. You have to have services that suit different types of client, and I think that's where Pure Ideas can offer that sort of bit of hand holding and taking that extra care. So really, Louise, that's all the questions I've got for you. Unless there's any other little pearls of wisdom you want to share with them us. But for anybody listening to the this episode about renewals of intellectual property, if you have a portfolio and it's with somebody else, but you feel, from the point of view of doing your prosecution work or anything like that, but you would like to investigate how Pure Ideas can help you with your renewals, then we're very happy to help, very happy to give you some more information. So please click on the links below this podcast to reach out to Pure Ideas, and we'll be very happy to take it from there and give you some advice and help. Louise, thank you so much for your insights into renewals. It's been a pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.